Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are standing in front of the staircase down into the Loghorrean's lair, I think. Let's call it a lair. It's the crypt. And this is gonna be the episode of truth. Are we able to defeat the game's end boss? Yes or not? Last episode we found the chest guard of perdition, and we are now wielding it, or wearing it rather. Our resistances are in a pretty decent shape. Most of the things are 60 or more. Even bleeding and vitality are in a very good shape. Ether at 30% is a bit on the low end. Chaos at 10, definitely on the low end. Stun resistance at 4% is not that important because a lot of our damage is dealt passively. But this is about as much as we can do about it, so let's see if we can defeat Grim Dawn's end boss on a hardcore veteran mode. And after that we can at least unlock epic difficulty. So the plan, when we defeat the Loghorrean, let's stay positive here. We'll at least set our very first steps in epic, so we can at least check that off. But after that, the next couple of episodes, we're gonna do some of the more optional bonus content that got added to the game outside of the storyline that is still very much worth doing. So one of those things is the East Marsh, hidden path content is another bit. Thinking of doing the Tower of the Cultists back in the early parts of Act 1. That is also an area that just scales along, so it will be level 45 plus. And it's always a rather high challenge area, so I think it would be interesting to do. We still actually have to speak with the witch in Fort Icon. Never really got around to do that. It's not strictly required content, but no, she does represent a faction. And personally, there's always a choice between siding with the witch and siding with that soldier of the Black Legion. And I always think the soldier of the Black Legion is just such a basket. Just really unpleasant person. And the witch has done nothing wrong. No, she's helped. She's got the trust of the Inquisitor. We are helping the Inquisitor, so no, by extension should have the trust of us. Well, the soldier is always just so afraid of the unknown. On the other hand, now this is a game where you're not really supposed to pick sides based on who you like more. You're supposed to pick sides based on who gives you the greatest amount of benefits. It's very clinical in that regard, I suppose. That's the reason I went with Cadence Chosen, because they had blueprints that I liked, even though personally I don't really like the Cadence Chosen faction. On the other hand, no, going against the witch is powerful. The witch is really powerful. I think first time I went against the witch, I died with my character. Wasn't hardcore, but I still remember it vividly. You don't mess with the witch. So for now I've postponed any choices. I haven't spoken with either, I haven't chosen any sides. I'm leaning to siding with the witch, because she will send us all around. She will send us to the East Marsh. We have to defeat the final boss in the area over there. She will send us into the underground, into the quote-unquote roguelike dungeons. The Bastion of Chaos, she sends us there. We basically should go there as well. Because, well, technically we don't have to go into the Bastion of Chaos. But no, if you're there, might as well do it right.
I can't do that yet.
So there's a couple of things now they're still playing in the back of my mind. On the one hand, I could also say, no, yeah, just ignore all the optional side content, ignore all the dangerous content, so to say. Just continue with the storyline, play it safe, but at some point you have to stop playing it safe and you have to start looking for things that are a little bit more on the danger side. No pain and no gain. And it is fun to face difficult content and actually make it through. But at least I wanted to cross off the Loghorrean off the list, and after that The more risky things, the more optional things are definitely on the table. But for now, our focus is going to be solely on taking out the Loghorrean. Before the Loghorrean though, there's going to be another boss in the area. Some big green variation of these void leeches, if I remember correctly.
That skill's not ready.
And then once we go down, there is going to be a fight. There will be a showdown. Mano a tentacle monster. Yes, let's go with that. Also, there's something down there, so we definitely should face that. So give a shout. Get a little bit of attention. Hello there, Elnar Darov. I think everybody is called a Darov. That's maybe their family name. The Darov family. Okay, let's overguard this. So maybe I shouldn't be standing in that circle, but we were tanking through it all so nicely. Got a reputation bonus with our buddies of Cadence chosen for defeating that epic. That's also interesting. I haven't really noticed that kind of message before. At least I don't remember noticing it before. Let's see. Hello. Yeah, it does just. So standing against the wall like this, on the one hand it's safe-ish, on the other hand it's suboptimal. This build definitely plays best when you just put yourself in the middle of a room, so mobs can actually surround you on all sides, and your warcry has the biggest reach possible. Also, there's a secret room there. There's the torch. Yes. I think we got a whole train of demon stats. That's good.
That skill's
They will come. They will follow. They will die, as demons are wanted to do. Good. So yeah, there's just some trash mobs. Let's yay. Hidden spoils. That's a nice big chest, and there's even a blue item in there. And also this door opens here, so it's actually a passage through, an alternative passage. This door doesn't open until you pull the lever on the outside. You are just gonna die now while we look at this. Tempest of the Void. Requires a whole bunch of spirit. Gives +2 to Wind Devil and 1 to Doombolt. So if you're playing an occultist, shaman, if you're playing a conjurer, this might be an item for you. Mixes an interesting set of elements: lightning, chaos and electrocute. And it has some electrocute retaliation. Also some lore bits. And time to move on. It's kind of funny that mobs do seem to have vision through the walls. Because I swear this guy was just coming after us because he detected us through the walls. Rather than that he actually noticed us in some more realistic sense. Okay. Let's have a look here. Blue Tyrant.
I can't do that yet.
These physical brute types, they are our easiest match. Because now we have a decent amount of armor, we have health, we have regen, and every hit they do will definitely hurt them a lot due to retaliation. Yes. So you can't walk through mobs,
Can't do that yet.
but with Blitz we can actually charge through them. That will allow us to go through groups of monsters, while normally walking through makes us face their collision boxes.
That skill's not ready.
So that is one of the tricks if you want to either get into trouble or out of trouble. Blitz is your buddy. Okay. Interesting, that one got pulled, but it didn't act
Can't
instantly.
do that yet.
Almost like it didn't really want to, but kind of grudgingly had to give in to the taunt anyway. Yeah, we knocked that one down really hard. Kind of funny if they have a really, almost like a grossly exaggerated time that they get knocked down.
That skill's not ready.
But it seems like the mobs that we are facing here, most of them are 1 or 2 levels above us. It's not insane amounts, but it's definitely not meant to be a walk in the park.
I can't do that yet.
The difficulty is of course only gonna get amped up the closer we get to the final fight. I'm seeing the staircase on the minimap, which means we are getting close to the first boss fight. Let's see. And after the first fight we are... Well, we still have to traverse through the level over there. So. Not instantly going to get followed by a second one, but... Well, hello there, Bane Galgalor. Galgalor, yes. We're gonna go with Galgalor.
That skill's not ready.
Guardian of the Gate. Well, that does seem appropriate. Guarding the Gate. So, the degen clouds on the floor, they are more or less matched with our own regen. And that's just the passive version of it. Okay, now we got the ads out of the way, and that we're just dancing away from those clouds. We're doing better. This is a fight that's it's not going quickly, but we are definitely in the biggest favor here. This build was never meant to be a fast killer, but it was meant to stay around. And in that sense, we are doing our job. War of attrition, definitely our favor. Which makes me wonder how the fight with the Loghorrean himself is gonna be. Of course, being the final boss has even more life. It's gonna be add-ons, things like that. I suspect if we are in a similarly tanky situation over there, we might be able to simply just keep focusing on the boss, while the add-ons just kill themselves. Pendant of the Royal Crown. Let's have a look at what that one does. The door has opened. Treasure room. Well, a little bit of a treasure room. Not all that impressive. Definitely useful to look at. So, Tempest of Void. We got that earlier. Some bit of lore. There. Pendant of the Royal Crown. Bunch of extra damage, cunning, spirit, and offensive ability, and is part of a set. When you have 3 pieces, it gets you +1 to all skills. So just a bonus to all the attributes. It's a very generic bonus, probably useful in a lot of builds. So for now we're just gonna put that into the back of our backpack. 200x. Okay. Next stage. Now we got the seal of the Loghorrean. Once again, this level will be ended with a boss fight. Then we're gonna face a human rather than a monster. After that we are directly gonna go into the Loghorrean's lair. I think we're doing something right here. Our health bar is really not moving all that much. While enemies are... oh, they are dying. Like that, okay. Yes, give me. Trouble. Charge in, we shout, and then with a bit of luck everybody else is just gonna let us. Because, well, what are they gonna do against us, right? Hit us? Nah, that only hits them. And we recover faster than they will. Once we have our demolitionist a bit more on the road, I suspect gonna have even more damage output. Ooh, hello there. You are Bolster the Bloodthirsty. You're a regenerator. That no, somehow a kindred spirit. But I laugh in the face of your regen. We can dish out some damage when we want to. Okay. Ooh, there is another hero here. And we have hit level 46. That's also nice. No, just leveling before the boss fight. Get us some more skill points. Some more attribute points, some more health, some more mana. All the stuff that we might want in a boss fight. Of course, boss is gonna get a similar benefit as in boss will be leveling up. But Vindictive Flame is gonna be an ability that we do unlock before the actual fight. So this is yet another reserved skill, but it's a bit more universal than Flame Touch, which we got last time. Flame Touch just gives us a tiny little flicker of a fiery flame. For the rest, it's very limited in its usefulness because we do want it for temper. A Vindictive Flame, however, gives us physical damage, fire damage, chance to stun, health, regen, and some bonus to speed. Those are all very highly desirable things. Of course, it's retaliation, so they hit us, we strike back hard. But it's going to be useful nonetheless. So we'll add it to the bar over here. Let's see, Flame Touch, no Vindictive Flame. So we reserve it. Boom. We now have a flame. So our health regen got boosted even further to 248.97. Okay. And with that, we push onwards towards this metal strongbox. Apothecary sign. I seem to remember finding multiple pieces of the apothecary set, which is interesting because the apothecary, it actually comes with a gun. That's like a healer gun. It's a very interesting set. Never had all the pieces, and this playthrough it seems like we're getting a whole bunch of apothecary drops. So it would be fun if we actually had a complete set. Especially since I am keeping a mind out for the future series. However, soon or late that one we might start. It all depends on if we are gonna stay alive for a very long time or if I fudge something somewhere and kill this character. But I still have to play a demolitionist, so if we already have a bunch of demolitionist gear all lined up and ready to play, then no, I might feel strongly compelled to play my demolitionist as a hardcore character. So those tentacles move.
Can't do that yet.
And they hurt. I wonder if those tentacles feel pain. No, given the whole retaliation reflection deal we got going on, can they only inflict damage or can they also take damage? Also, I realize I never clicked this box. So. This tentacle apparently is not into doing things with its appendage. Other tentacles, however, do, especially once you get closer to the Guardian fight.
Can't do that yet.
Yeah, it starts to hurt. That said, however, we are rather tanky, so the question is it really gonna be a noticeable amount of damage that we take from them? There's just so many things that are different with this build compared to the previous ones I've played. We have, for me, insane amount of life. We are rather tanky, we're not really doing all that much damage, though. No, I have played slower builds in the past. Learning the game is something that allows you to just
can't do that yet.
Make slightly more optimal use of some of the game's mechanics. On the other hand, some builds are just inherently stronger than others. Okay. Hello. No, you're not movable either. But of course, this being almost like the perfect tank, as that's how I'm trying to play it. Means we trade survivability as our primary statistic. Everything else is just secondary.
That skill's not ready.
Ooh, Dryad's Blessing just got boosted, so we're now healing even more with our Cadence. Because Dryad's Blessing triggers based on Cadence. So while we are attacking every once in a while, we heal ourselves. And we more or less just permanently reduce the amount of, or the duration of bleeding and poison effects on us. Okay, I think this was a false trail. This is actually leading us towards the boss fight.
That skill's not ready.
Okay, so there's one downside to stunning enemies too often. That is, of course, that they don't strike you, so retaliation doesn't really do a lot. Upside, of course, is that they don't hurt you, and therefore you don't have to deal with their damage. So it's a safety feature, but yeah, it's the safety versus doing a damage trade-off that I keep getting back to. So taking a little bit of damage here. Let's overguard against it. Boom. Regeneration back on track. Also, let's just get out of whatever they're throwing at us. That's one of the downsides of playing a build that's rather tanky. You can get away with rather sloppy play. It's also one of the things that I've been discovering on the Path of Exile side of the channel. Got into the endgame content there as well. And some of those fights, no, they are, if you know the mechanics and you got a decent build, you can do it. If you don't know the mechanics and your build is so-so, then you're gonna get wrecked. But for a lot of the game, once you have some experience with building characters, playing the game, things like that, just the base level of player skill and character building, you know, it does allow you to get away with a lot, and you can brute force a lot of things based on just good stats.
Not ready.
So to a certain degree, that is something that I think we're doing right now as well. In almost 9,000 points of life on a character that's not even level 50 yet. To me, that's high. Then again, most of my characters so far have been a bit more aggressively focused. And I don't think it's even that we are all that well geared.
That skill's not ready.
This guy is noticeably less tanky, but his damage output is sufficiently higher to compensate for that. I have yet to use a single potion. I haven't drank a single potion this episode. Well, not a health potion. In mana, I keep happily chucking those green potions. Well, red potions, nope. Worst case, I need to use an Overguard. This does give me a hope for the final fight. If we can do this without having to resort to the drinking flasks to stay alive, or even getting out of the way of his attacks, then I think we can just power through the Loghorrean and just basically win it by just playing a war of attrition if need be.
I can't do that yet.
But this is, it works. Definitely my kind of build. So, we're getting nicely loaded up on loot. So we have the final seal. So, let's of course read the words and then defeat the boss, or die trying. At last we stand before the blood-soaked gates of a victory. The Loghorrean will soon be awakened, and with it we shall usher in a new age. It is you, my loyal supplicants, that have paved the road to our final victory. Your dedication and sacrifice has carried us to the threshold, and I shall see us through. The ancients were determined in their construction of this final chamber. 100 of the Imperium's finest arcanists dropped dead to empower the runes which now bind the Loghorrean's tomb. They believed their sacrifice worthy, their seals impenetrable. But we have an army of thousands surging with the power of the dead god. Power that will not be contained. I have gladly put a blade to the throats of my most faithful, and felt the rush of their lifeblood escaping. Blood they have given willingly in this final hour. With the power of their blood, I have shattered the final seal and begun the ritual. Soon the Loghorrean shall stir from its eternal slumber. The world will shudder once more under the gaze of the mouth of Cadence. Let the blood flow. Well, got a package of band-aids here. Let's see if they apply. Let's see if they stick. The Edge of Madness. And there's our buddy Ulgrim. Hello. Oh, hello. Tentacles.
Skill's not ready.
Let's see if we stick to our plan to just stay here and tank him. Can we get away with it? No other build I have played could get away with it. Those tentacles, they hurt. The Loghorrean himself also hurts a bit. Now, of course, now I've been playing through to this endgame basically since they added the endgame.
That skill's not ready.
And over time they have balanced this encounter. I think it used to be more difficult. Not entirely sure of that. Okay, so now first Overguard in this fight. Oh no, a Void Rift ate Ulgrim.
That skill's not ready.
It's like the dog eating your homework, right? So there's now 2 heroics behind us. We might need to get away from here just to deal with them rather than the other hand. Okay, overguarding again. Okay, we dropped below 4,000 life for the first time. Well, it's all very sustained damage. It's not like there are instant bursts that just deal 6,000 damage to us. It's very measured. Because you're not meant to be here with 9,000 points of life. You're at least not on the veteran. Okay, let's overguard this. Okay. Basically the amount of life that we now have left, 3,000 to 4,000, is the amount of life you're normally supposed to have. Okay, let's actually drink a flask. But if you look behind us, there's 2 big corpses where heroic enemies used to stand. We just let them kill themselves. I am very, very satisfied with this build. This is definitely not a playstyle that will suit everybody. Some people really do like to have a more active build. But this is something I find very entertaining, very satisfying. Just tanking through something. It's a very decent way to see what the game has to offer you, get a feel for the difficulties, the amount of spike damage that you'll be getting, things like that. The question of course becomes, could you have a passive version of this build? As in no active attacks at all, because currently we are using Cadence to... Okay, time for a second. Flask? Nah, I don't think so. Oh, life's ticking back up. So could you have a completely passive version of this build, where you're not even using Cadence or another active skill, but you're just walking through and maybe just using War Cry to just taunt things, but besides that, let the monsters kill themselves. But we did it. We defeated the Loghorrean. So now it's time to loot the treasure troves. And we have now unlocked epic difficulty. So we have to speak with Inquisitor Creed, who will, if I remember correctly, give us our very first legendary item, which in all likelihood is going to require level 50 to use, rather than 46, which we are right now. And indeed, we have picked up all the loot. And now we can get out of the rift. So, we are at the Necropolis again. As long as this instance is up, this portal will remain, so you can go up and down multiple times in order to pick up the loot if you need to. But once you start the instance, the portal will be gone and you will have to kill the Loghorrean again to get it back. Or actually need to kill the Guardian in order to get it back.
You've returned. Is it finished then?
The beast has been banished, but Ulgrim was pulled into the void along with it.
And so, our great moment of triumph is soured with tragedy. The cult's defeat at the Necropolis marks humanity's first major victory in this conflict, proving that we are not going to simply lie down and let ourselves be wiped out by fiends and spirits. Word of this victory will spread and give people hope that someday this nightmare will truly be over. Yet we cannot forget those who sacrificed their lives to bring us here. Brave men and women of the Black Legion who took up arms in the defense of Erelon, a nation that scorned them as criminals, outcasts, even traitors. In death, they were none of those things. They died as heroes. But I refuse to count Ulgrim among the dead just yet. I owe him that much. Take your leave and rest. Celebrate a bit if you can. You've certainly earned it.
But we can't give up on Ulgrim. We won't. Because we will probably see him again in a future expansion or something. So we dropped a couple of things. Yes, there is a legendary in here somewhere. Let's see. The Essence of Baronaf is an amulet. Ooh. Elemental damage, attack speed, cast speed, and 32% damage reflected. This is highly tempting. Not gonna use it, because I really do value the health and resist we get from our current amulet. But 32% damage reflection is very tempting. Because we currently are at 25%, so this will more than double our permanent amount of reflection. Then there is a belt here, Blood-Bathed Lynx. Chance of bleeding damage, so that's on attack. Increases bleeding damage and duration, physique, reduction in bleeding duration on ourselves, +2 to laceration and +1 to blood of the reek. So that is Nightblade and Occultist. Not our thing though. And of course here, Apothecary's Touch. So we already got the gun and the ring. Now we also have the gloves. So there is definitely a theme here that we are picking up of apothecary stuff. And the entire set, so it does add to your survivability. So there's something to be said for that. But of course, the thing that caught my eye, Devil's Cage Hauberk, legendary heavy chest armor. Over 1000 armor. A little bit of physical damage. Okay, feels like my downstairs neighbors are drilling a hole in their ceiling. I hope it doesn't come through in the microphone all that bad. But this one boosts physical, chaos and internal trauma damage. We don't really deal chaos damage ourselves, but physical and internal trauma are damage types that we do deal. Though mostly physical, internal trauma is just physical over time, and we don't have a lot of skills that do. Extra health, defensive ability, 99 to fire resistance. That means we are just going to be set on fire resistance for most of the game. As well as a bonus to Warcry, which is one of the skills we use. And Sigil of Consumption, which is an occultist skill. One of my favorite occultist skills, actually. Big, nice seal on the floor. And it will just start draining the life of those who step upon it. And heal you. Definitely fun to play with. Let's see, 100% chance one hit, Devil's Cage, traps your foes in a prison of pure obsidian. 10-second recharge, 5-second duration, so it's going to be up half of the time if you're on a continuous attack. 3-meter radius, 270 to 300, and basically 300 on average physical damage, which is of course amplified by all your bonuses to physical damage. Similarly, 150 chaos damage, which is amplified by its own chaos damage bonus. And it reduces the physical, vitality and chaos resistance of those trapped. I think we are definitely gonna try this one on for size and see how we like it. That much armor is definitely gonna boost our tankiness. Those percentage bonuses to the damage as well as the Devil's Cage triggered skill definitely are gonna help us do more damage and kill things quicker. So I think this is one of the very first times that I had a legendary item that actually was useful, that I could use on the build that I found it on. So I'm very pleased with that. So for now we're gonna put this one in here, just in our own stash for safekeeping. Put this one over here. We already had the gloves, so this gun is a healer gun. That goes with the same set. And yeah, and then we have the ring to add to it. So now we have 3 pieces for a 4-piece set. That's not quite bad. And we don't have space for that one, so we'll just put it in here and be happy with it. We'll just sell all these other things, but for now, we have defeated the Loghorrean. We have completed veteran mode. Just as a symbolic thing, we're gonna go back to the main menu. We're gonna change the difficulty to elite. And we're gonna start just to set foot there and say we made it. We defeated normal, or veteran rather. We made it to epic difficulty. Hello, Jarvis.
Still drawing breath.
And of course, as is a tradition in action RPGs, Insomnia. We don't remember who we are. They don't know who we are. We're just here. It's all new. With the exception of this guy. He remembers that we have some reputation with Devil's Crossing, even though everybody else doesn't seem to recall who we are.
Looking too bad for someone just the bodies that you will need.
And he's gonna send me back to the burial hill because everything that we defeated was all for naught. We are gonna clear all the quests again, but on epic difficulty. So things are gonna get more dangerous and more dicey. But that's not gonna be until the next couple of episodes. We are gonna return to veteran mode in order to do some of the side quests I already mentioned. And after that we are gonna start on epic. But for now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching. And I hope to see you again next time when we go for more fun. Bye bye.